and we're following that destiny that Allah wants us to follow, right? That is a property of creatures to be on that path. But when it says here that it is my Lord that is on the straight path, well, what is it that Allah needs to follow? So my question to you is, who is he interceding to? Who's he talking to? Who's higher than Allah? That Allah should... Exactly. So why is Allah being described as an intercessor according to your Qur'an? Yeah, right. So given that to be on the straight path means that you're making a declaration about Allah, right? And that you're following in the way of Allah, is that correct?
Yeah.
You're obeying Allah's laws, is that correct? Right. And so therefore it's a property of creatures. Why does the Quran say that Allah is on the straight path?
Okay, what verse is that?
So the passage that I'm talking about is in 1156. So if we go there. I don't know, that guy got really triggered, eh? Really triggered. He's shouting for us. Sorry about that. So in 1156 it says this. Right.
Oh, okay.
So it says, 1156, I put my trust in Allah, my Lord and your Lord. There is not a moving creature, but he hath grasp of its forelock. Verily, it is my Lord that is on the straight path. How can Allah be on the straight path? What truth, what knowledge, what destiny can possibly be bigger than Allah, that Allah is upon it?
I don't take it like in a literal, like there's a literal road which God is walking upon.
Yeah.
But just as a statement of like, there's the straight path, which is the path that we're meant to follow.
Yeah. Right, but the path...
I guess it's like the narrow gate.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the narrow gate. But think about the statement, right? The statement is, you said that it's a path that we should follow. So if we are following the straight path and making the right statements about Allah and bowing down in worship to Allah and serving Allah rightly, and we're following that destiny that Allah wants us to follow, right? That is a property of creatures to be on that path. But when it says here that it is my Lord that is on the straight path, well, what is it that Allah needs to follow? Allah is the sum of all perfections. He is the quintessential essence of all virtue. There is nothing that is unknown to him. There is no increase within him in anything that is good. And so there can be no path for Allah to walk upon, because there is no journey for Allah to make. He's everywhere all at once, in every point in time. But it's saying that it is my Lord that is on the straight path.
I mean, I just understand like in a spiritual sense.
But so what is the spiritual understanding that you have then?
So there's the straight path, and then there's other paths that lead to damnation.
So my question is, how can Allah be on the straight path? Where's Allah going?
It's telling us that God is upon the straight path, so we should obey God, and
Yeah.
we'll also be on that straight path.
Right.
That's how I understand.
But it's saying that Allah is upon the path, right? Not that.
Yeah, to us.
Yeah.
That
But
God is upon the straight path.
it says that it is my Lord that is on the straight path. Yeah. It's not so. So the path has got to be greater than Allah.
I guess it's a prayer,
Yeah.
which is being taught to us in the Qur'an.
Is it the Fatiha?
Yeah, it's similar to Al-Fatiha.
Yeah.
So God is teaching us that He's upon the straight path.
Yeah.
So we should, if we obey God, listen to His voice, we'll also be on the straight path.
Right. But the point is, the criticism that I'm making is that it's not saying that Allah is the straight path. Like, let's do a comparison, a fair comparison. So Jesus says, I am the gate. Jesus says, I am the way. Jesus says, I am the good shepherd. So he describes himself in this way because he is the sole embodiment of all truth. The Quran is not saying that Allah is the embodiment of the path. The Quran is saying that Allah is on a path.
My Lord is on the straight path.
Yeah, my Lord is on. It says it is my Lord that is on the straight path. So Allah can't be on. He either is the path or he's on the path. But it's saying he's on the path. Now, if it had said Allah is the path, yeah, but that's a reinterpretation of the words, isn't it?
Well, it's referring to God, so in that sense. But who is speaking about me, then depending on the context.
Yeah.
You know, but because it's speaking about religious matters, so this straight path is in the spiritual sense. We can agree to disagree.
Well, I think because you're, if I remember correctly, you're Ashari, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they interpret the scriptures metaphorically.
Yeah, not everything, but
yeah. So let me ask a question that's not about open to interpretation, but it's of a similar vein to the one that I've just asked.
Is this the second question?
It is the second question. You okay with that? But it's on the same theme, right? Brother, please.
Just ask for the verse of the first question.
Yeah, so...
1156.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, for instance, it describes Allah as being an intercessor in the Qur'an.
Where?
What is an intercessor?
That's a good question. I need to Google that.
I can tell you.
Okay.
Right, and then you can check to see if my description is correct.
What
So,
verse?
brother, please, I'm trying to have a conversation.
Just what verse?
Yeah, I'm trying to have a conversation, bro. Please. Right? So the passage that we're looking at is Surah 39:43. And the passage describes Allah as an intercessor, so let's just establish that first. So it says, what do they take for intercessors other besides Allah? Other besides Allah. So it's saying Allah is an intercessor. An intercessor is one who intercedes or involves themselves on behalf of another party towards a third party. So if you were my intercessor, right, before the judge, you would speak on my behalf before the judge.
I can just very quickly just look at Arabic.
Yeah, of course.
You take Allah. Okay, I see.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So am I being fair to the Quran that it's describing Allah as an intercessor?
Yeah.
I'm not twisting or being unfair, am I? No. So if the Quran is saying that Allah is an intercessor, who could Allah intercede to? Obviously, it would be on behalf of us. That's a given. But who is he interceding to if the Quran has described him as an intercessor?
I think in this context it's to do with those people that evoke or call for helpers.
Sorry, call for?
For helpers.
For helpers, yeah.
So I think it's using it in that context.
So calling upon other gods.
Like a helper.
Yeah, but my point to you is
So I
that...
don't think it's referring to like on the Day of Judgment.
But an intercessor is a specific thing, right? Now, the Arabic says intercessor, and the Quran says that it is pure Arabic, and the Quran says that it has no errors or mistakes, which means that any description that is given to Allah needs to be taken seriously. An intercessor is one who intercedes on behalf of one party for another party. Right? If Allah's not an intercessor, he shouldn't be described as an intercessor. So, for example, as fair comparison, there's no description in the Bible that the Father is an intercessor.
So I lost the reference.
Yeah, it's Surah 39, Ayah 43. What I'm trying to point out to you is that the Quran has these linguistic gaffs, these linguistic mistakes, which if the Quran is supposedly free from error and contradiction, should not be there, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I'll give you another example of the same.
You said there was only two, so because I wanted to introduce someone to your friend.
Yeah.
Before he goes.
Fair enough.
So, yeah.
As always, you always say
Thank
you're
you.
going to come back to me and you never do.
Thank you, but it's nice talking to you. You gave me some interesting points.
Yeah, one day we're going to compile a list of all those things you're coming back to me on.
Okay. Yeah.
One day I would like you to come back to me on it. But yeah.
It's nice talking to you.
Yeah. So guys, let's just be clear about what the Quran is saying, right? So in Surah 39:43 it describes Allah as an intercessor. I'll give you another example, an example of the same. So in Surah 32:4 describes Allah as a mediator. So let's go there and see what it says. Surah 32:4. Right, so in Surah 32:4, listen, says this. It is Allah who has created the heavens and the earth, and all between them in 6 days. Then he has established himself on the throne of authority. Ye have none besides him to protect or intercede for you. Now the Arabic could also be translated as mediator there, but this translation has used the word intercessor. It's saying that you have no one to intercede for you. Who is Allah interceding to? The Qur'an is saying that Allah is an intercessor, but then the Qur'an is saying there's no one to intercede to. That's a logical, rational contradiction in your Qur'an. Do you get the point? You understand the logic? Yeah? Have you got an answer? Yeah? Let me give you another example of the same, guys. Right? And then I'm going to stop. These are linguistic blunders of the Qur'an. Right? In Surah 37, 107, it says this. Surah 37, this is Allah speaking, remember? Right? This is Allah speaking. And we called out to him, O Abraham, thou hast already fulfilled the vision, thus indeed do we reward those who do right. For this was obviously a trial. Who's speaking, brother, in this passage? Allah. Right? It says, we called out to him, O Abraham. Who's that? It's Allah. And then it says, and we ransomed him with a momentous sacrifice. Who is Allah ransoming to? He's ransoming the son of Abraham with a momentous sacrifice. To who? Who is above Allah that Allah needs to give a sacrifice to him? Do you get the point? The Quran has got these linguistic blunders because every now and then the human author of the Quran forgets that he's meant to be speaking on the behalf of Allah, and he confuses the persons with which he's speaking to. Do you have an answer to the question I'm raising, bro?
What's your question?
So in Surah 37, firstly, are you a Muslim, sir?
No, I'm not like. I'm not of the belief that there is no mistake. I'm not of.
So you're not you're a Muslim, but you believe that the Quran's got mistakes in it.
There could be mistakes. It's a historic document. I believe it.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah.
So you might have a get out from my argument then.
Yeah.
I think you probably do.
I believe it to be a historic document.
So you believe that this could be an error?
There could be many errors. Yes.
Yeah. Well, in that case, this doesn't work with you, because if you agree that the Quran can have errors in it, then you can just write this off as an error.
All religious books have errors.
Yeah. So
I'll argue with the Bible.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, let me give you another example. Do you have a response to this, bro? Nope. No response. Fair enough.
My translation is to translate different.
What does your translation say?
I have an Arabic Quran.
Sorry, bro. I am talking. Please, bro. Go on. Sorry. What were you saying? Your translation says what?
It doesn't say anything about intercessors.
Sorry?
It doesn't say anything about intercessors when I translate in my language, Albanian.
Yeah. What does yours say?
It doesn't really say anything. It just says
Doesn't say anything.
in terms of.
Bro, that's a problem.
In terms of whatever you say, it doesn't say.
Yeah. So what does your translation say?
He created the earth and everything else.
Which passage are you in? Let's go back to that passage.
32:4.
32:4. Right. Let's go back there.
Why did Muhammad say he said a different thing to become a Muslim? The creed of Abraham.
So in 32:4.
The things we're meant to learn is Arabic.
Yeah. Well, no, because as Christians we reject Arabization. Yeah, we reject Arabization, and actually a lot of Albanians are rejecting Arabization. The Catholic Church and the churches are one of the fastest growing religions in Albania right now, especially in Kosovo. It's a fact, bro.
Kosovo.
Yeah, Islam in I think it was in the 1930s was at 79% of the Muslim population. It's now below 65%. It's now below 65%. Peace be with you. God bless you, bro. Look after yourself. Get in touch with me, bro. I'm happy to talk to you again. Have you got my card? God bless. Right.
In Europe, which one is the most Muslim?
I want to try and stick to this topic, right? So coming back to this passage, It says, it is Allah who has created the heavens and the earth and all between them in 6 days. Does your verse have that?
It says, in Albanian it translates, it's Allah that created the earth and everything else. You can't get help other than from him.
And then it says, on the throne of authority. No, on the verse 4. Then your translation, bro.
32:4.
Right, but your translation is really bad.
Yeah, but so is English.
No, your look, my translation, what you've identified is that one of us has a translation problem.
That's the thing.
Right?
That's why you shouldn't look at the translation. You should look at the
the argument that I'm making is based on the Arabic. Right? It's based on the Arabic. What we could do, no, but I do know people that are fluent in Arabic. They were born and raised in the Middle East. They can read and speak Arabic fluently. I've checked this passage with them. It does talk about Allah being an intercessor. And literally, the brother that you was stood here with me before, the brother that was stood with me before, I'm going to have to stop a second. Sister, come here. Come to us. Please don't shout, just stand with me until they go away. You guys okay?
How tall are you?
Stop harassing a woman. Stop harassing a woman. Yeah, stop harassing a woman. Grow up. Yeah? Okay, so coming back to our conversation, right? The Qur'an says that Allah is an intercessor. Yeah?
How would you define that? How would you understand?
It's a good question. So an intercessor is one who stands between two parties. Right, everybody calm down. Guys, we're trying to have a conversation. Feel free to listen in. Yeah, please listen, right? Or feel free to go away. But let's have our conversation, please. Yeah, okay? That's a fair request, yeah? Okay. So an intercessor is one who stands on behalf of party A and speaks to party B. So they're like the C party that stands between A and B. And they talk on behalf of party A to party B. But the Quran is describing Allah as an intercessor. So my question to you is, who is he interceding to? Who's he talking to? Who's higher than Allah? That Allah should... Exactly. So why is Allah being described as an intercessor according to your Quran?
That might be just a translation issue.
Right, you say it's a translation issue. But before, I don't know if you were here, but before I was speaking to a guy who is an Arabic speaker, and he confirmed that the word intercessor was there. We have it on camera. If you cut, so he's a fluent Arabic speaker. He's fluent in the Arabic Quran.
I can speak Arabic. Let's say if I can speak Arabic as well, I might not understand what that actually means.
Why?
It might not be as easy word.
Sister, please. So my point to you is, we already have an Arabic speaker who has confirmed that the word is intercessor.
A random person from all you know.
So let's try to build the argument. Yeah, he was a Muslim. He's walked away now.
Well, the one that was just here right now.
Do you remember seeing him? The big long beard, yeah? Right? He's an Arabic speaker. And he said on camera that the word intercessor appears in the Arabic. So I'm not making this up, guys. I'm not lying to you.
Yeah, but let's say he might not know what he's talking about. That we don't know.
Right, let's go to another passage that demonstrates the problems of the Quran. Come with me, get out your Qurans, and come with me to 931.
931.
Surah 9, Ayah 31.
Okay. Let's fact check. You could be lying, Bob.
Right? Listen to what it says. Listen carefully. They take their priests and their authorities to be their lords in derogation of Allah and Christ, the Son of Mary. Did you hear that? Did you listen to it carefully? It's saying they take their priests and lords apart from Allah and Christ, the Son of Mary. So the Quran has put Christ on an equal status with Allah.
You know who he's talking to?
Who was he talking to?
Christians.
Which Christians was Allah? Listen carefully. Listen. No, hold on 1 second. No, let's listen carefully to what it's saying, right? Listen. brother, if you want to join in this conversation, you're more than welcome.
It's an open discussion.
Yeah, it's an open discussion.
Yeah,
So maybe you wait. Right?
To Christians.
No, listen to what it says.
Read
Right, brother.
Read one
If you're
before.
just going to shout over me, the whole conversation breaks down. The way a conversation works is I talk and then you talk.
The verse before.
So we'll read it from the verse before. The Jews call Uzair a son of God, and the Christians call Christ the Son of God. That is saying from their mouths, they but imitate what the unbelievers of old used to say. Allah's curse be on them, how they are deluded away from the truth. They take their priests and their anchorites to be lords in derogation of Allah and Christ the Son of Mary.
So he's talking to the Jews and the Christians.
Yes.
As we read before.
Yes, and he's saying they're taking their priests and their lords as anchorites in derogation to Allah and Christ, the Son of Mary. So the Quran is saying that Christ is a Lord over the Christians.
For the Christians.
There you go, thank you. Now, according to Islam, is it shirk to call someone your Lord apart from Allah?
He didn't call.
That's what the Quran just said.
He said they are taken. He's not saying take.
No, you're not listening carefully. Listen carefully. The accusation is that they take their priests.
Who is he accusing though?
He's accusing Christians of taking their priests and anchorites as lords in derogation to Allah and Christ, the Son of Mary. So in other words, Allah is calling Jesus a Lord over the Christians. That's what your Quran is saying.
That verse is condemning Christians and Jews.
Right.
Saying don't take Christ.
I agree with you, it is.
Exactly.
But it's condemning them, listen carefully.
That verse is condemning Christians and Jews
Why did you finish
worshipping
the verse?
Christ as a
Finish the
god.
verse.
Sorry, I was talking to him. Don't be rude. Sorry, say again.
That verse for the camera, if anyone's hearing, is that verse is referencing Christians and Jews and why they're worshipping Jesus as a god.
Doesn't say that.
Which it does.
What it actually says,
Referencing is condemning Christians.
listen again,
Take their priests as lords. which
listen
they do.
again, listen again. It is saying they take their priests and their anchorites to be lords in derogation to Allah and Christ, the Son of Mary.
Exactly. It's
And
condemning Christians.
no, it's yes, you're right.
Instead of
Look,
worshipping,
you right. I'm going to just talk over you now because you're just talking over me.
So what is the
The
debate?
point is,
What's your point?
if you'd listen, you'd hear the point.
I heard it already.
No, I'll say it again. The verse is condemning Christians for taking priests and anchorites as lords over Allah and Jesus, the Son of Mary. In other words, Allah is saying that Jesus is a Lord over the Christians.
not in this translation, it doesn't say that.
Your Albanian translation.
In English.
What's your
They are
translation
taking
say?
The rabbis and the monks, as well as the Messiah, Son of Mary, as lords beside Allah.
That's not what the translate. It's not what the Arabic says. It's not what the Arabic says.
You speak Arabic now, do you?
Do you know Arabic?
This has been tested. Do you speak Arabic? Do you? No. Do you? You do fluently. Great. Come here. I want to ask you a question. Right. So let's come back to this one. Bear with us 1 second. Come here. 3943. I'm going to see if you speak Arabic like you claim. Go to Surah 3943 for me. Pull it up in the Arabic.
What was it? What was it again?
3943. So in Surah 3943, now we've already had this confirmed by an Arabic speaker. I'm not testing this because I doubt the early Arabic speaker. I'm testing whether this guy can speak Arabic.
3943, yeah?
Yeah. Does the word intercessor appear in the Arabic? Because we know that it does. We've already checked that it does. So this is to see if he knows Arabic.
It's talking about.
Does it say intercessor?
Say again?
Does it say intercessor? Yes. So now we've had it confirmed twice that the word intercessor does appear. Guys!
Yeah, but you're taking out one word. Hold on. It says besides, as.
Yes.
As intercessors.
Right.
But what's your whole purpose? Where it says besides?
Right, so now let me ask you this question. Who is Allah interceding to?
To Christians and Jews.
You're saying Allah intercedes to Christians and Jews.
I'm saying some of the verses, especially the one you brought up, was saying that.
Do you mean for Christians and Jews?
No. It's condemning Christians and Jews and telling them, oh, why do they take priests and Jesus as lords?
Right, so my question to you is this.
Yes.
Who is Allah interceding to? We've established that the word intercessor is there.
I need to read the whole verse.
Right, you do that. But the problem is that an intercessor is one who stands between party A and party B. So they're a third party, a party C. And they're speaking on behalf of party A to party B. So who's the party B that Allah is speaking to on behalf of party A?
Read it in Arabic.
Well, we've already confirmed it twice. The word intercessor is in the Arabic.
He claimed to be Arabic speaker, so.
I mean, you haven't actually confirmed whether the Arabic says intercessor.
I need to explain to you that some Arabic words have different meanings.
Right, go on.
Okay? So it can be intercessors, it can have another meaning as well.
Right, what's your other meaning?
I don't know, but there are in Arabic.
You don't know? I thought you were an Arabic speaker.
Let me explain to you. Arabic and English are completely different. They're very different.
That doesn't mean that you know the word in every
They're
other
very
meaning.
different.
No, it doesn't.
Arabic and English are completely the opposite, are different.
Right.
One word in Arabic can have a million different meanings.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
Yeah, right, so let me reply to that. Firstly, you claimed to be an Arabic speaker. Now you're saying that you're not competent to translate. Guys, shall we move the cameras this way a bit? Yeah. We're going to move this way a bit. You can still stand off camera if you want. I just want to move it this way a bit. So bro.
I'm going to float around, I'll come back to you.
So the point is, you're saying you claim to be an Arabic speaker, but now we find that your Arabic is not good enough to the task.
That's fine, no worries.
Thank you very much. So sir, my question to you can stay off camera if you want to. You've accepted that the word intercessor is there in the Arabic. So who is Allah interceding to? Nobody. So how is he an intercessor?
The sense of the word here is not necessarily meaning that he's interceding to somebody else, but he's criticizing people who are taking intercession beside him.
Right.
Beside him, the word in Arabic says min dunillah, or below him.
Right.
Okay?
Yep. So
And all the intercession is to Allah. In another verse
Yeah.
says no one can intercede except with his permission.
he doesn't want to be on camera.
I
And if he's a mile away, I can't hear him. Go on.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that in another verse, he's saying no one intercedes except with his permission. So intercession doesn't mean that he intercedes, but the intercession is he's the possessor of the intercession. And that's what the next verse says. So if you read the next verse,
Yeah.
say to Allah belongs
Exclusively.
the right to allow.
It doesn't say the right
intercession.
to allow.
Yeah, here.
It says exclusively intercession.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exclusively.
belongs to him.
Right, 1 second. Exclusively intercession belongs to him. So Allah is describing himself as an intercessor.
No.
He's not describing
he's
himself
the
as an
owner
intercessor.
of the intercession.
Right.
Meaning, if I'm
Yep.
the owner
Yep.
of a house,
Yes.
I can't allow anyone in the house or out of the house except, with my permission.
Right.
That's what, so that's...
So, but the point is, Allah is describing himself as an intercessor. Literally. He says, bear with us. What do they take for intercessors other besides Allah?
Besides,
So exactly. So 1 second. Let me. I listen to you. So Allah is saying that He is ascribing to Himself the property of intercessor, right? If He is describing Himself, let me finish. I listen to you. You've got to listen to me. If He is ascribing to Himself the property of intercessor, then logically there has to be someone that He can intercede to. If he's no one to intercede to, then he is in no way an intercessor. Now you go on to say that to Allah belongs exclusively intercession. Right, that is doubling down on the earlier statement. Allah is doubling down on the fact that he is the sole intercessor. But who is he interceding to?
But he's not saying, you're actually misquoting it by saying that he's saying that about himself, that he's an intercession. He's saying, have they taken intercessors?
Yes.
Below him or beside him?
Yes.
Okay? That doesn't mean that he's saying, I'm intercessor or interceding.
He's calling himself an intercessor.
And even in the sense of the word, if you want to take it as that, you know, in that sense,
Yeah.
he was intercede for people on behalf of these people to himself, except with his permission or with his allowance.
So allow me to reply, sir. If you say, I'm taking a wild guess that you're a Muslim,
Yeah.
is that fair? If you say if you say that I am a Muslim, what does that imply?
Submission to Allah.
Yeah.
To
So
the
what?
God.
Now the reason why I asked that question is this: is that if I make a statement about myself, I am ascribing certain properties to myself. If I say I am a human, I am ascribing human properties to myself. If I say I am a God, I'm ascribing certain properties to myself. I'm saying I'm infinite, eternal, immortal, undying, unsuffering, unchangeable. So when Allah describes himself as an intercessor, let me finish.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Let me finish.
Misquoting the verses.
Let me finish. I'm really not misquoting the verses. Literally Allah says, what do they take for intercessors other besides Allah? So in other words, I am an intercessor. It goes on to say, even if they have no power whatever and no intelligence, say, to Allah belongs exclusively intercession. So the act of intercession belongs exclusively to Allah. How? Wait, let me finish. Let me finish.
Well, it doesn't say the
Let me
act.
finish. It literally says, to Allah belongs exclusively intercession. So if intercession belongs to Allah, Allah has that property. If Allah has the property of an interceder, logically there has to be someone there to intercede to, otherwise he doesn't have the property of intercessor.
Let me just say, carry on. So what is your point? What is the ultimate point of,
Right.
of this argument?
Okay,
This
so-
whole long-winded argument.
Okay, so the point that I'm making to you is that the Quran has linguistic gaffs, errors in it. It has mistakes of language in it, in that it describes God in ways that are contradictory. For example, if Allah ascribes to himself the property of intercessor, but there is no one above him to intercede to, then he's not an intercessor, and so he should not describe himself as an intercessor. By way of comparison, you won't find any verse in the Bibles that says God the Father is an intercessor. Why? Because there's no one for the Father to intercede to. And so God the Father is never described as an intercessor, ever.
Okay, so in order for you to criticize the Quran
Yeah.
as having gaps or having error, you really have to be an Arabic linguist to be able to criticize the Quran in that way.
Yeah.
To come as a, it's very, very similar
So
to me
you
coming
cannot
and
criticize the
criticizing.
Bible if you're not a
and
Greek
coming.
linguist.
Yep.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, all Muslims do
I can't
in this part.
criticize.
All Muslims do. Double standards. Exactly.
Bear in mind,
So
I'm
I
just an
can't
Arabic speaker.
criticize Shakespeare if I'm not an expert in the
So what's the point of
Shakespearean
translating?
language.
So no. Let me.
translation of the meaning.
No. Okay. So let me come back to you, because you've made a claim that I think is actually false, right? And here are my reasons for saying that I think your argument is false. Argument number one. I'll go through these quickly. I won't take forever. The reason why that defense is false is because if I can't criticize the Quran without being an Arabic linguist, you can't defend the Quran without being an Arabic linguist, and I don't think you are.
How do you know? How do you know?
Two, I'll finish what I'm saying. Guys, I'll finish what I'm saying. Two, Arabic linguists have translated the Quran. They have taken the time to translate the Quran. So they have allowed me to criticize based on their linguistic translations, on their authority as Arabic linguists. 3, Muslims are quite happy to accept your Shahada if you accept Islam without knowing a word of Arabic. So if you can accept Islam without knowing a word of Arabic, you can damn well criticize Islam without knowing a word of Arabic. And finally, the reason why this argument doesn't work, 2 more points very quickly, is that Muslims are always criticizing the Bible and they're not linguists on Greek or Hebrew, but they never feel constrained by that logic. And we've got countless examples of it going on in the park. And finally, linguistically, you don't need to be a linguist to criticize logical statements. We've already established that the word intercessor is there. So I'm not making it up. You confirmed the word was there. Now, incidentally, are you an Arabic qualified linguist?
I'm not a linguist.
There we go.
But I'm an Arabic speaker and I have enough grasp of the Arabic language to understand the meaning of these verses.
Yeah. So, go on.
With enough depth to make me confident about what I'm saying.
Okay, so let us build the argument, because what I'm trying to demonstrate to you is that the Quran.
But you are,
Go on.
with all due respect, you're misquoting the Quran by saying that Allah is saying about Himself that He's an intercessor. Have you read that word? Have you now?
Yes, I read it, and you confirmed it was there.
No. The word intercession is there, and the word intercessors about other than God are there. But God is not saying about Himself that I'm intercessor.
He says.
He's not saying that.
He says.
He's saying I'm the owner, as in the kind of permitter.
Brother,
who gives permission.
So we've kind of already gone over that ground. I don't think that's what the Quran is saying. I don't
Based
think.
on what?
I don't think it's based on it, because the linguist.
So you
Sorry,
actually
I did not interrupt you. If you're going to interrupt me, I'll just start talking over you, and then you'll get upset. I listen to you, please listen to me. We've already covered that ground, and based upon the translation of an actual linguist, not you, because you've already said you're not a linguist, therefore I'm going to stick with what the linguist says, and the linguist says that the right of intercession belongs exclusively to Allah. So Allah is saying that He has the possession of the quality of intercessor, and that means, right, I'm going to just talk over to you. I'm just going to talk over you. Right, I'm just going to quote over you then. I'm just going to talk over you then.
I'm sorry, you're misquoting.
Would you like to have a conversation or just talk over one another?
No, but you're misquoting
Right,
it.
so
and you
don't
keep
it,
repeating
please don't complain when I interrupt you next. But let's try and advance the argument.
I'm
Passage.
really having to go because it's
Of course, every Muslim has to go when they're challenged on the Quran.
Really sorry,
That is totally fine.
No, that's not true.
That is totally fine.
Thank you.
Okay, it's okay. So here's another problem inside the Quran, guys. Muslims are attacking the Bible all of the time, but their own Quran states this. In Surah 37, Ayah 104 to 107. Listen carefully. It says, "We called out to him, O Abraham, thou hast already fulfilled the vision. Thus indeed do we reward those who do right. For this was obviously a trial. And we ransomed him with a momentous sacrifice." Who is Allah ransoming to? The Quran is stating that Allah is making a ransom on behalf of Abraham. To who is He making the ransom? Now Muslims don't have an answer. So let's go find some other Muslims to ask some questions to.